Hello, this is your video on what we're going to be doing in Module 3, which will take place between September 14th and the 18th. So, what are we doing this week? Well, we're going to be practicing some more, learning to read like a reader and reading like a writer, which is going to become a really common practice in our class. Whenever we look at a text, we're going to be looking at it in these two ways. As a reader, using literary aspects, all those literary terms we've learned, theme, characterization, symbolism, main ideas, key details, all those things. And then when we look at it as a writer, we're going to be looking at it in terms of how the information has been organized. So if it's a fictional text, how does the writer begin? What is the exposition like to introduce the characters and introduce the conflict? How do they create that rising action where the conflict gets more serious, more intense, more in depth? When we're looking at informational texts, we're going to be looking at what they do in the first paragraph to really get somebody's attention. And then how do they transition from that first paragraph into that second? How do they organize the flow of information? So we're going to be looking at texts in these two different ways. There's some videos that are going to help you to know, kind of walk you through how to do that. And then there is a video of me looking at a text like a reader and a writer. So you can kind of see the difference there. We're also going to start our informational writing unit with looking at some infographics and writing some summaries. Summaries aren't just used, in a classroom setting where somebody's going to say, summarize what you read, but we're going to use them in argumentative unit as well. Specifically when we do debates, you want to kind of summarize your topic before you get into the pros and cons, or, which side you're going to be debating. So these are going to be summaries, especially, are going to be something that we're going to use in other types of writing. So these are our targets this week: reading like a reader, using literary aspects of a text to analyze, reading like a writer, looking at the writing moves of the author to analyze the text. Or you're going to be analyzing informational text, specifically infographics, to identify the main idea of the infographic, and then writing a summary of the infographic. And it needs to be objective because you're being informational. You're not to include any of your opinions, but it's supposed to be just the facts. Then in our question of the week, you're going to be watching a video from Khan Academy on how to write complex sentences, and then you will be expected to write a complex sentence in your response to the question of the week. And I do expect you to do 15 minutes of independent reading each day. Thank you for those of you who turned in your reading choices already, whether it was a physical book, an ebook, or a podcast. I'll be getting to you who haven't done that at the beginning of the week. So in new learning, how to read like a reader and a writer, and then that you'll see the Google Slides. Within the Google Slides, that's where you will find the video of me reading a text like a reader and a writer. In informational writing, infographics and summary, you've got some Google Slides. There's a Khan Academy video on how to write a summary, and then there's also an article that really breaks it down step by step. So your learning tasks: 15 minutes of reading per day. I put a timer in here for you in case you need it. Read like a reader and writer is in Google Classroom under Module 3. That about sums it up. So that's going to be using those new reading skills to look at an infographic and writing the summary. So that is also under Module 3, along with the question of the week with your grammar lesson on how to write complex sentences. Please make sure your initial responses are in by Wednesday, and that gives classmates enough time Thursday and Friday to reply to their responses. And then here is a checklist just to remind you. I've also included in here an independent reading reflection. So on Friday, I'd like you to do this reflection to kind of look back over the 5 days and share a reflection of your reading for these first 5 days. And if you could please do the exit ticket, that just helps me to know if I'm meeting your needs, if I'm not meeting your needs, what I need to do. There's also those additional resources for you. If you can't find the Zoom meeting invitation that is going to go out, you can find it here. Just click right in there. Because of the just the circumstances of last week with the fires and the power outages and everything, I've kind of scaled back what I was going to originally do so that those who had issues with power, they couldn't get in, they couldn't do any work. This will give you a little bit of time this week in which to get that work done as well. So I'm hoping to see all of you in our Zoom meeting on Monday, and I hope you have a great week.